Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of College Football UK. Lads, if you're on YouTube, by the way, lads, show him. College Football UK. Wait, no, camera's over there. Yes, we are all donned in bright red t-shirts, as I've just been reminded before clicking the button that these are Ohio State colours. Um, that's not great. So, without further ado, we're here to talk about college football. We're here to talk about actual real games that are happening this
It's getting worse.
weekend. College football's back in about, what is it, 3 days?
Yep.
Joining me to talk about these games is none other than TikTok megastar Gary. How are you, sir?
Doing well, doing well. So looking forward. So excited. So excited. You can actually touch it. You can taste it. Football is here.
What does it taste of?
Pop Tarts.
Oh, right. Chocolate flavoured.
Pop Tarts, who will
Pop
be at
Pop
the
Tart Bowl.
game.
The Pop Tart Bowl.
Joining us in a fashionably bright orange hat there as well is, as ever, Sam. How are you, sir?
Yeah, good. Just looking forward to actually being able to watch some football again. I'm having to scratch the itch with some pre-season NFL, which
Doesn't
is
quite work,
it's not.
does it?
No, it's doesn't quite work, but we get to watch Stetson Bennett kill it in games. So
That's all you can ever ask for. And uncharacteristically, after missing last week, and an opportunity to grill our Georgia Bulldog guest after the college football playoff quarter final last year, which was a fantastic opportunity. But returning back at the helm is also Nick. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. Apologies for missing last week. I would have loved to have been on. Um, I thought I was going to be the only one in red today. I obviously, misread the memo. Um,
This is
but
the Spider-Man meme, isn't it? Where he's pointing at Spider-Man's
It
yeah,
pointing
was.
at Spider. Yeah.
no, I'm good. It's it's one of those periods out away from the podcast where everything's busy because it's the summer and you're running around like headless chicken and kids are still off school and people are off work and it's just a bit manic, but we'll rock and roll and we'll football season's here and everything else, so yeah.
As is generally the case. Now, unfortunately, as we've continuously ribbed Sam for throughout the last few weeks, Sam will not be joining us. But Nick, Gary, are you excited to get on an aeroplane at the weekend and head over
Can't
to
wait.
Dublin?
Can't wait. Booking's done. All the prep is done. Parking is booked. The transfers are done. The only thing that's not confirmed yet is what you guys need to do on Friday, which is find where we're going to have breakfast Saturday morning.
and who's going to
Gluten-free
take the
I
bread.
chocolate?
I
And
am
who's
good.
bringing the chocolate?
I'm good. I've got my energy drink ready in the fridge. Got a Mars bar in the fridge to keep me going until breakfast. Um, and yes, we'll rock and roll and be in the center of Dublin by you know before 10 o'clock, and
Mm-hmm.
let's get
Right.
going.
I need to make sure just before we go because Mrs. Fletcher's counting on you. Neither of you are gonna flake, are you?
What do you mean flake?
Why would we flake?
It depends on what you determine as flake. Do you mean like by the time it gets to 11:30, watching the Hawaii Warriors at Mahomes when we all start to kind of go, it's time to go to sleep now? Or
I do forget that I am the youthful one of the group. I'm the youngest of the group.
wow,
Um, I do forget this sometimes. That's a compliment. Well, partly because of the immaturity in the room. Um, other than
we'll
Sam,
take.
Sam is
Hey, we'll
Sam is
take
the
it.
most mature. Um,
Am I?
it Sam, it's
Just take it, Sam. Take
slim,
it.
slim picking. We're slim pickings here. Um, very slim pickings for the most mature of the group.
Right, Nick's got his energy drink. There'll be no flaking this weekend,
Good. Well, we're glad there'll be no flaking this weekend.
unless of course we bring Cadbury's flakes. But anyway, it's different.
See, you did that one to yourself there.
Yep, yep.
Uh,
Moving
Chocolate.
on.
It is just going to be known as the Aer Lingus Chocolate Classic between us, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah,
It is
that's
now.
it now.
It is now.
Those 3 seconds defined an annual tradition. We're not flying out at the same time on the Sunday, but I am going to run over to Dublin Airport, and as you go to take a bite, going, no.
Just knock it out of my head. I'll just send you a picture of a bit of chocolate on the floor, just going, dropped one of out. Anyway, moving
everybody's
on.
listening now thinking, right, shut up about chocolate, start talking about
Why are
college
you
football.
talking about chocolate? We're supposed to be talking about college football. What's the chocolate got to do with anything?
As always, as we like to head into the actual football talk, we have to start with everybody's favourite segment, Nick's News.
I was not aware that it was everyone's favourite segment, but I will
Neither
take
was I,
it.
to be
Thank
fair.
Neither was everybody else, so we'll take it.
So an interesting piece of news I had for last week that is that the 3 schools heading for the Pac-12 from the Mountain West, Boise State, Colorado State, and Utah State, are suing the Mountain West division themselves, alleging that they have been improperly withholding millions of dollars that those 3 colleges are due. So that is something that's going to take its time to work out. But basically, the 3 teams that are leaving say, pay me my money. But
don't they have to pay to leave the Mountain West? Are they kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul?
Apparently, it's money to do. It's money to do based on performance. They're saying that the Mountain West have withheld money based on their performance within the Mountain West, and of course now that they're going to the Pac-12, the Mountain West are trying to not pay it. Because Boise State said they haven't received the money they were due for last year in their performances last year. So
and that was a good year for Boise State, wasn't it?
So we'll see how that one goes. What will happen will happen. Sam mentioned it off air before we started. The College Football Playoff Committee are to use enhanced metrics this season when it comes to selecting the teams eligible for the playoff. The first 6 teams will be announced on November the 4th. Now, when they say enhanced metrics, as I refer to the article, it says they're going to use enhanced metrics to help evaluate schedule strength and how teams perform against those slated fixtures. They're going to reward strength of schedule, and they believe it'll be a better evaluation of the teams that deserve to be in the playoff.
6.
So I think it's another one where we'll see what comes out in November. But this all comes down. Schools shouldn't be picking their own schedule for me. It's something that annoys me. And when we had Spencer on the other month, Fletch, he was saying that schools shouldn't be picking their own schedule. So it's but it's one of those evils that's here to stay.
Interesting to see on that one. Just to talk about it.
Yeah,
quickly.
go on.
Where are those? Who's making those metrics? Is it an NCAA metric that's been produced? Is it a conference? Is it from ESPN, for example, or is it some sort of statistician think tank from MIT or something? Have kind of gone crunch the numbers and this
so
is the strength of...
It says here in the current schedule strength metric, more weight will now be applied to games against strong opponents. A new added metric of record strength will help the committee determine how teams performed against their schedule, rewarding those that beat high-quality opponents while minimizing the penalty of losing to one. These changes will also provide minimal reward for beating a lower-quality opponent while imposing a greater penalty for losing to one. So basically, if you fill your schedule with easy teams...
If you cakewalk it and you put majority of SCS teams on your schedule, you're not going to be doing very well.
Basically, if you're any of the big teams and you beat, say, Charlotte 49-0, it's not going to mean that much. But if you lose to Charlotte,
it's going to make a massive...
You're going to be screwed.
And
so
I suppose
Alabama
vice versa
losing
to
yeah,
FSU.
Alabama losing to Vanderbilt last year would probably have cost them heavily, much more in this new metric than it did last year.
So can we talk about how, again, I'm going to make this one dig back again this week. The SEC playing an 8-game conference schedule and scheduling some cupcake opponent right before the end of the season. That means nothing to them because, okay, that's fine. Just want to make sure that the SEC are the cowards in this one. I
think we're all fully aware that the SEC have cakewalked most of their schedule, but maybe with this new advanced metrics, they might look at that next year to kind of realize when they get hammered by the. Wait, they're not going to get hammered by the. Who we talking about?
We're just saying the SEC are frauds. Yeah, that's it. Right,
yeah,
we're done.
Okay, let's leave it there. Leave it there.
So I
don't want you and your mate Sankey falling out. Right. Obviously, a lot of camps are starting to wind down and finish. A lot of schools and colleges are announcing their starting QBs. I'm not going to go through them all, but I am going to go through two just because they interest me. Bear Backmeyer.
Yes, what a
that's
name.
A quality
what
name, isn't it? Bear Backmeyer.
True freshman.
True is been named BYU's starting QB, and in doing so becomes the first true freshman in Cougars history to do so. Fair play to you, sir.
Funnily enough, there's a Cougar probably at one of the local bars that's called that as well. Bareback.
I was going to say that works on so many incredible levels.
So many incredible levels.
Just have to bring
there might be a few Cougars in Ireland. You never know.
No comment.
Definitely no comment because I know certain people are bringing their partners, and it's best for me to just bite my lip right now.
The other QB announcement that I wanted to bring to the attention, close to my heart, the Fighting Irish have named CJ Carr as QB1 over Kenny Minchley. Now, initially, at the start of the summer, after the college playoff, after the playoff final, I kind of had CJ Carr down as my likely choice. But over the summer and the gold game and what have you, and spring football, Kenny Minchley probably has been performing slightly better than CJ Carr. But CJ Carr has won it out. He is the son of former Wolverine player Jason Carr and grandson of former Wolverine coach Lloyd Carr. So I think Kenny Minchley will still play a lot though, because he's very much like what's his face was. Who did we have last year? The name's gone. It was our QB last year. Name's gone.
Riley Leonard.
Riley Leonard. You know how he was always running? He was always either running for his life or running stage runs. Kenny Minchley runs better than CJ Carr, so I think when you've got those close to the goal line run plays, you might find Kenny Minchley comes in for a few of those
speed options and whatever else is.
Yeah. Moving on to the Wolverines.
I want to make one more, two little bits on that. One, there's another important starting quarterback who's been named. Ohio State have named Julian Sayin.
But just for the first game, though, right? I don't think he's named him as in he'll be the starter for the whole season. But I think he's just been named for.
All I've seen, he's been named starting quarterback. Julian Sayin.
Yeah, he's gonna play. He's gonna play next Saturday. That's the.
And Michigan had that last year. Tried to do that last year. We brought in Davis Warren, and then Alex Orji was going to be on third and shorts, and he was going to be, and it just didn't work. And I hate those kind of QB by committee things. I'm always wary of a QB by committee, even in college football. Just have your QB and stick by him.
Yeah. Staying on the Wolverines, 2026 prospect and number 24 on ESPN's top 300, Savion Hiter. Sorry, I knew I was going to do that.
You knew you were going to say it. You knew.
I said no. No, the thing was, I I said to Fletch before we even started, guarantee someone's going to make that mistake. But Savion Hiter has committed to Michigan.
I think it's
6 foot
Hiter, isn't it?
Is it
Hiter,
Hiter?
It's Hiter.
It's
Hiter.
Hiter. It's don't matter.
It's not what you said initially.
Yeah,
Hiter.
6 foot
Hiter.
200 pounds at 6 foot running back. That's like Henry sort of sizes.
Big lad.
Highest ranked pledge of the 13 to commit to the Wolverines. I'm not going to go through the other 12 that have committed to Michigan, but yeah, number 24 on the top 300. So decent running back for next year, I guess.
Indeed.
Yes.
Also, on your Freudian slip, it would be very interesting, and I think we spoke about it on our WhatsApp group, whatever else. Michigan playing in Germany next year with a running back of that name.
Yeah,
nothing can go wrong.
I hope that somebody is proofreading. I hope that somebody is proofreading all of the publications and all of the things.
I said on the group chat last week when I sent that picture of ESPN or whoever, CBS, who had put Michael Penis instead of Michael Penix.
Yeah.
And I've been saying for months, it's going to happen at some point. It's going to happen at some point. Someone's going to make an error. And I said to Fletch before we started, I said, guarantee you someone's going to make that error. I didn't expect it to be me today, but hey, at least I've made it now. I don't need to worry about it.
At least it's done. It's out of the way, right? It's happened now.
I don't need to talk about him again.
On the talk of Michigan, have they named Underwood as number 1 yet? Or
I don't think nothing official's come out yet as named.
Okay.
It's all but gonna be Underwood. So, I'm kind of I was gonna say on the Savion Hiter announcement, I watched it live. First time I've ever sat and watched a commitment live. It was really interesting to watch that kind of ceremony and how the head coach got up to speak. The athletic director, the guy who sorts out the athletics at high school, got to speak. The head coach, the principal of the high school, got up to speak, and how that process actually worked. And now there's a bit more that goes into it than just sitting there and going like that.
I'm going to wear this cap. Yeah.
There was no messing about with the hats. He just kind of sat there, Michigan on, done. And just watching how him and he just seems like, I haven't focused too much on it. Going into, you just kind of waiting for the just the togetherness of his family and how all his family were there and they all had that moment together. It was really, really nice to watch. And even if he didn't choose Michigan, that whole thing was just it's just such a really interesting thing to kind of watch.
Was it like on draft night when someone's drafted?
It's going to start getting that way, right?
That family, you get that
the
family.
thing is, it's going to start. I mean, it's going to start being like that for more kids as NIL starts to take effect and whatever else, right? Because going to college now,
more like that.
More commitment nights and stuff like that. Because going to college is going to be massive for some of these players and massive for their families. Because going to play, this guy plays in Michigan for 3 years, does really well, gets some good NIL money. He could be setting his family up for life even before he gets anywhere near the pros. So I think they are going to start doing, as you say, Sam, probably making commitment night more of a thing in college or something
and
like that.
They can use, as as the expert, using places like TikTok to get famous. Easy ways to make clips on TikTok and earn extra money that way as well.
Absolutely, monetize your TikToks, especially with a name like that. What could possibly go wrong?
Do you have any other pieces of news specifically before you need to hand it over?
All I was going to say was, after a 4-year break, a former coach is getting that itch. Former LSU coach Ed Oregon. Oh God, I'm going to put my teeth back in and start again. Is considering a return to coaching. Apparently, he's feeling that vibe and wants to get back on the sideline. Auburn are to retire Cam Newton's number 2 ahead of their game against Georgia on October the 11th. And sticking with Auburn, they have found 7 national championships behind the
hiding
sofa.
down the back of the sofa. Yeah, just
hiding down behind the back of the sofa, and in the blink of the eye, they are now 9 times national champions.
Go figure. Where do they find? It's like one of those sort of, you remember going to PE at school. There was like an old cupboard in the corner that had all the old football gear and all the old nets and everything else. Do you reckon they've just opened one of those rooms up and gone, "Oh look, all these natty championships are sitting in here"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So previously they were only counting, Associated Press national championships, but since they've decided to count pre-major college football era championships as well, which means they've added another 7, including their 13-0 team in 2004.
Yes.
So, and that is it. So I will hand over to Fletch because I know he's chomping.
Yeah. So I want everyone to carry on with the pin in the Savion Hiter stuff for 2 seconds. Sam's supplement. Do we have anything from Sam's supplement this week?
There's just a couple of things. Just Texas QB Arch Manning, because I only watch Texas, so I can only talk about them. He has said that his future is unclear after his grandfather basically said that he's going to likely be quarterback in 2026. Personally, I think it's non-news. I think it's just, the papers trying to find a way to hype up the guy who's meant to be the next, the next great thing, to be the next Manning, funnily enough.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, he's basically just focusing on the here and now. He's not basically not thinking about his future. He's thinking about going into this season and playing as QB1 for Texas. The other piece of news out of Texas, sort of out of Texas, was obviously we talked about a couple of weeks, Isaiah Bond. His charges got dropped, and he
rescinded, wasn't it? Rescinded or
rescinded?
Yeah, rescinded, wasn't it? Something.
Yeah,
it was a specific word they used, which kind of made it abundantly clear he'd done nothing wrong.
Within the space of a few hours, both Quinshon Judkins' case and Isaiah Bond's case both went away. Yeah. And Isaiah Bond has joined Cleveland.
Joined Quinshon Judkins at the Cleveland sex offenders.
2 minutes after he was cleared, he was a Brown.
Well, everybody knew he was going there because.
So I've made the joke to a few of my friends that Justin Tucker's probably on his way to the Browns as we speak.
It would be silly not to get to a full house.
But that's all I have out of Texas.
Gary's Gazette, has anything popped up on Gary's Gazette this week?
Gary's Gazette's empty this week.
Okay, so as we head over to Fletcher's forum, I'm going to continue with the pin in Savion Hiter. There's one other thing I want to mention on Auburn. And this is very much, again, this is forum stuff. This is like message board stuff. Have you heard what the head coach came out and said this week about how they're going to be calling plays?
No.
3 different coaches will be calling plays on different scenarios. So you'll have one person calling first downs, one calling second downs, and one calling third downs. And then Hugh Freeze will be overseeing the whole operation and stepping in where needed.
Because that's not confusing.
What could possibly go wrong? I mean, it's already confusing enough. If you watch a game of college football and you watch the sideline of a team, between plays, you have 6 guys running up and down with color boards, and you just have to. And it's just like, it's already insane enough to find those, because then you've got your running backs and your wide receivers and whatever else calling each different play, different colors, different boards, and whatever else. And now you're saying that there's now going to be an extra guy running in who's doing the first down ones and the second down ones. And that's just wow.
You've got the Backstreet Boys of quarterbacks doing all their dancing as they're,
Yeah. I like the boards, because I can't remember which team it was. They had different numbers on different boards just to add in an extra level.
Just absolutely go mental, yeah.
So,
but they'll do that because otherwise there's somebody in the stands watching signs and stealing signs and what have you. So they have to do that.
This is my moment to come here. So you don't have to explain anything.
Why do you think
bring that NCAA hammer with you? Yeah, Jesus.
I would like to. I'll give you all the reminder at the end of this. Right, the hammer arrived in Michigan, except it wasn't really a hammer. It was a bit more of a. In fact, it wasn't even it was
It
like a
was a
little.
hammer, but it was a
little
Shawshank
it
Redemption
it
hammer.
was it weren't a hammer. It just went. It was a little inflatable thing that kind of went. Bing.
Timmy
Kind of
Mallet.
you bonk someone on the head with like a kid bonks you on the head with when it was inflatable. It meant nothing. It hurt no one. The NCAA dropped their not their findings, dropped the punishment on Michigan for the advanced scouting case that's been going on for the last couple of years. The punishment includes a fine equivalent to the anticipated loss of all postseason competition revenue sharing associated with the 2025 and 2026 football seasons, a 10-year show cause penalty for former head coach Jim Harbaugh, 8 years for Connor Stallions, 3 years for former assistant Denard Robinson, a $50,000 fine plus the 10% of the budget for the football program, a fine equivalent to the cost of 10% of the scholarships awarded in Michigan's football program for the 25-26 academic year, a 25% reduction in football official visits during the 25-26 season, and a 14-week prohibition on recruiting communications in the football program during the probation period. And finally, the last little piece of it was Sharon Moore will face a three-game suspension, 2 of which he was going to serve anyway this year, and they've added the Western Michigan game in 2026 onto it. So he doesn't
want to go to Germany. Yeah, because he hasn't got a passport, probably.
So that means, and this is the bit that I'm really excited to talk about, because let's talk about what it really means. Let me just set myself up here real quick. That means no vacated wins, no postseason ban, and let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Ohio State fans, we can wear the red, we can wear the red and white. You can take this. This is your win, because no asterisks here. Not a single one. You can invent them. They can be in your head. These can be
They're still there.
They're still there. Everyone's going to have an asterisk against that, apart from anybody who's got blue tinted glasses.
But these asterisks are in your head. They don't exist. They're not real.
Come on.
They
Come
don't
on.
exist.
How could they not? Was it 12 coaches or something were on that list of people who were found to be not doing something very correct, and yet somehow you get hit with like a monetary fine, and
it's
a joke.
What people need to remember is sign stealing in and of itself is not illegal. Advanced scouting is illegal, and the only person who took part in that was Connor Stallions,
under the guidance of all of the other head coaches and assistant coaches, and yeah.
But sign stealing and deciphering signs is not illegal. That is something that all teams do. All teams have a network where they do it and help each other with it. It's so science. It's advanced scouting that's the problem. That's what's been punished, and that is
punished.
Do you want to tell people what the show clause means for Harbour and Stallions?
Yeah, okay. Actually, that's a really good point, because
I know. So I don't mind.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, because obviously, if you are listening, you aren't sure what a show cause is. It's as good as a ban from participate. There's 2 different show causes. You have an all-out show cause. You cannot participate in any college athletics in any way, shape, or form throughout that period. Or you've got like a partial show cause, which means you might have a coaching show cause, and you might not be able to take part in like on-field training and being a coach, but you might be able to have an admin role in the background. Connor Stallions and Jim Harbaugh and Denard Robinson have all been handed outright altogether show causes, which means that even if not only can they not coach, but they can't hold any position within athletics. Now, if someone wants to hire them, they have to put a submission. They have to submit to the NCAA a reason why they should be allowed to work within that program, and the NCAA have to like go through rigorous procedure of approving that. It's highly unlikely that it gets kind of overturned. It's highly unlikely that that would ever happen. I mean, at the end of the day, Connor Stallions has buggered off. Jim Harbaugh's in the NFL, and I don't know what Denard Robinson's doing with himself at this moment in time. I'm not going to lie, but
Probably
yeah,
playing with his natty win.
but they are not allowed to coach or have any involvement in college athletics. The only way that they could within that time is a school has to apply to the NCAA and give like show cause, and show the cause for the reason why they need to be the person that's hired. And the
How
NCAA,
Have we
long was it
heard?
that Jim had it? How long's
10
his ban?
years.
10 years.
that was 10 years, but he's already serving a 4-year one for something else.
Yeah.
So it's a
So
14-year ban.
it's 14. So 2038.
So if he's already got a ban, and now he gets another ban, I mean, but okay, there's no asterisks on your national championships. Keep telling yourself that,
Show
Joe
me.
Blue.
Show me where it is, Gary. Show me.
I think the the thing is, Jim's never coming back to college football anyway. Like you said, he's in the NFL and he's settled. He's likely to be, the Chargers is probably likely to be his last job anyway. And even if it's not, he shouldn't have not been in the NFL anyway. But
Yeah, another prime example. But if anyone wants another prime example of something similar that has happened, Pete Carroll, when his USC team got done for impermissible benefits and paying players and all that sort of stuff, he got a show cause from the NCAA after he'd gone to the NFL, signed with the Seattle Seahawks, and Pete Carroll's career in the NFL is. I mean, I'm not sure he regrets anything. He went on and went to 2 Super Bowls, won one. Like, I mean, probably regrets it now. He's in Las Vegas, but I'd be regretting a lot of things if I was coaching the Raiders. So,
Yeah, but he's just getting a tidy payout at the bright old age of 74, isn't he?
yeah. So
I think I I'd be quite. Has anyone heard? Has Connor Stallions said anything? Because obviously Jim Harbaugh just said the statement where he said, "I'm done. I'm done engaging. I'm not getting involved. It is what it is," and he's just moved on. Has anyone heard anything from Connor Stallions? Has he made any sort of public statement?
I want to double
I haven't
check
seen
now.
anything.
I know that like Urban
There's
Meyer was
something
talking about it.
There's something from 8 hours ago. He was apparently on the CMU sidelines at some point.
So I'm going to say that the
That's
only
bad
other
thing,
bit
isn't
to
it?
talk about on it, which I think is important to mention, is that Michigan have announced that they will be, what's appealing against against it. Connor Stallions' attorney has invoked O.J. Simpson while blasting the NCAA. That one's interesting. I'm not going to go in. I don't want to read that. That sounds like a car crash. But with regards to the Central Michigan stuff, it was when he was spotted on the Central Michigan sideline during the game against Michigan State. Now, the argument there is that Central Michigan hired him for that game to help them because he was so good at deciphering signals and deciphering the signs. What is believed to be is that he may have been a thing, and that's why Central Michigan, by the way, are also in trouble on this. That people seem to think Central Michigan are also in trouble. What obviously that means is was he taking again? That's advanced scouting, and was he taking that on to somewhere else and using that in a way that it shouldn't and is not legal to be used. So yeah,
Unfortunately, I think while I get what Gary's trying to say, and I also get what you're saying, Fletch. Yes, there's no asterisks by your titles. You've won your titles and everything else. That's fine. Gary, I get what you're saying about there will always be that question, always be that thing. But if I can roll it round to a different type of football, 1-1-5.
Mhm.
If a team is found innocent, which I expect them to be, of the majority of 115 charges, people are still going to turn around and say, well, you bought
Still
the
guilty
you
of
bought
55 of
yeah
them or whatever. Yeah.
It's
you or you bought the
it's
jury or you bought the judge, and so you're always going to be perceived to be guilty anyway, regardless of whether you're innocent. So
it's
I think
isn't it
from
130 charges now?
Yeah, it's going up
oh,
with it. They've found,
I've
they've found
lost
more. They've found
I've
more.
lost our count of how many it is. They're all bullshit anyway. Um, but
No smoke
you
without
know,
fire.
I think it's just one of those that you just let it go and just move on. Like Jim Harbaugh said, just stop engaging and just have done with it.
Right.
I think as it was mentioned a couple of weeks ago, everyone's of the opinion now this has run its course. It's done. The only reason this has become newsworthy again is the lack of the NCAA's punishment, according to everybody. Most people think the hammer was pretty ineffectual. Let's be honest. Even you're saying that, Fletcher, that as a punishment, a monetary fine and some slaps on the wrists and a few percentages here and there, and some of the coaches who are never going to be coaching again getting told you can't coach. Oh, big whoop. When you compare how badly the NCAA smashed the USC dynasty way back when because of Reggie Bush, this seems so featherweight. It's unreal.
But my only saying of the reason with the hammer is all I have heard for a year and a half is the hammer's coming, the hammer's coming, the hammer's coming, the hammer's coming. And it's all Michigan State can talk about because, well, why the fuck would they talk about Michigan State, the shit? But, and it's all Ohio State won a national championship, and that's all they can talk about. So that's all I've had from both in both barrels all year. And when that came through, I'm not gonna argue on whether I agree or disagree with the punishment or anything. I'm just saying that like this is all that's been thrown in my face, and I am relishing in what has gone from the hammer's coming, the hammer's coming, the hammer's coming to well, I still think you cheated. Oh, I still think it's it's been
You
quite the
could
funny
tell
turn of events.
you could tell you were happy because when it got announced and you jumped straight on social media with your video while you were walking, your smile was as big as big as Deansgate. So
Because that was I see that like I say, that's what I've been told all year. That's what's gonna happen, and it never happened. And I just it's I'd watched for the first half an hour a lot of people get very upset and I found it funny. There are people who I enjoy Schadenfreude is the word I believe the Germans use.
Ooh.
Um
Oh, nice link to next year with the German there. Nice, very nice.
but
Oh, can we get
I
on
know
now?
what
Can we
I know
move?
what I
Like,
say,
okay, done. All
I
right,
know
done now.
with the podcast we
Yeah.
want to throw we've exhausted this conversation. There's one more thing we need to do before we get onto the main topic. Nick, I
yes,
believe you brought some trivia to us.
I have, I have. So
Nick's knowledge.
next, well,
It's the crossword puzzle and Sudoku puzzle of Nick's news.
Yeah, it's
so
that random page that you turn to.
it is the college classic this weekend. So your first question is, which two teams contested the first ever college game in Ireland?
Oh, sugar, spice, and all things nice. I think wasn't it? I think wasn't it a Fighting Irish? No, no, it wasn't. I know you guys have been over quite a lot, haven't you? You've been over more times than anybody.
There's only one that I can think of, and it's just more again with the Irish link would be Boston. That'd be the only link I would have because they like it's the Irish link,
Boston
isn't it?
Tech, yeah, Boston College, yeah.
That's one of them. Well done, Sam.
Yeah, I don't know who the other one would be though. That's the only one. That's the only link I would have had. Or what's
The
it?
year
Navy?
the year was 1988.
Navy.
I've been
It was
looking at
Boston
these.
College at Army against the Army, and it was 38-24. And as we know, I don't mind listing a result where the American service have been battered. So well done, Boston College, on beating
Well done,
the
Boston
Army.
College beating Army. Yeah.
Yeah.
The military service teams have not done very well on visiting the Irish shores, have they?
Yeah.
The season hasn't even started, and Nick's already taking jabs at the US military.
What's the worst that could happen? He's dropping Hitler's name, and now he's throwing shade at the army.
2 world wars, Vietnam, all those sorts of and they can't survive Notre Dame or Boston College. It's embarrassing, really.
Well,
it comes down to it.
So the other question I had was, which team last year ended a 22-year winning season streak? So for 22 seasons in a row, they had a winning record, but last year they had a losing record and therefore lost their streak.
Is it Michigan?
Oh, I wonder.
No.
I wonder which of these two teams this could possibly be. Was it Florida State or was it Florida State? I'm gonna go with Florida State.
Not Florida State.
Oh,
we haven't won 22. We haven't had a winning season 22 seasons in a row.
Georgia Tech. Then there would be the.
No, it wasn't Georgia Tech.
Wait, I thought it was
no, as in
unrelated.
it's not related to the college.
No, the first question was the college-related question. This
Right,
one was the
okay.
general one that I had to start with.
Well, I apologize. I thought this was this was related to college football. I know I'm gonna just go back here in the background.
Pittsburgh?
Nope. Last guess, somebody.
Northwestern.
Close. Wisconsin.
Heading up there. 22 years they'd had a winning season record.
Wisconsin had a 22-year winning season streak, and that ended with their losing season last year.
But it does relate to the College Football Classic.
It
Aer
does
Lingus Classic.
because this year and this weekend.
No, because next year it's UNC-TCU, but the year after it's Pitt, Wisconsin. So it does relate to a future Aer Lingus Classic game.
Future Aer Lingus Classic.
You didn't
want
mean to.
It's a risk.
I didn't mean to, but there you go.
We'll reach for it, but it works.
So, but I've just a quick. Did someone mention the Aer Lingus Classic? Did someone say there was been mentioned?
The words were mentioned. The Aer Lingus College Classic starting on Saturday. Live, real football. Week 0.
This Saturday.
This Saturday.
I've been thinking all day of what we could talk about on this podcast, and I've just been like, "There's nothing going on."
About it. We've taken 50 minutes to talk about bloody Michigan and all the other gubbins. Let's actually get talking about some proper stuff now.
Yeah, we've got 10 minutes.
So shall we talk
Farmageddon, the longest Farmageddon, the one and only rivalry that has been unbroken, continuous since 1917, is coming to Dublin. Farmageddon. Okay, granted, it's only been called Farmageddon since about 2009. However, this is the rivalry that has not been broken, not by the pandemic, not by the pandemic in 1918, the flu, not by the world wars. This game has been played every year since 1917. It'll only stop being played in 2027 because the Big 12 decided to shuffle the pack and they won't be playing on that year. So it will break that streak.
So, couple of little bits of...
There's a bit of trivia for you.
A couple of little bits of trivia. Oh, no, well, a couple more bits of trivia here for you before we start. Don't worry, they're not questions. I'm just going to rattle them off. Head to head. Iowa State and Kansas State have had 108 matchups in their history. Iowa State lead the series 54-50-4 because you used to be able to tie in college football and they've done that 4 times. The first game ever was, as Gary has just said, in 1917, where Iowa State beat Kansas State 10-7 on the 10th of November 1917. The biggest win in terms of the biggest margin was Kansas State 58, Iowa State 7. That was on the 9th of November 2002. The last 5 games that they have played each other, Iowa State have won 4 of those 5, with Kansas State winning the one right in the middle. But the last 2 were a 42-35 win for Iowa State and a 29-21 win for Iowa State. 5 games ago, they did win 45-0, but ever since that, well, and then there was a 33-20, but the last 3 have been one-score games, exciting affairs. Looks like, and then to go
There's
into...
been some mad games. There's been some mad, crazy endings in some of these games.
This is a top 25 matchup. This is a battle to get to the Big 12 championship, a battle to get into the playoffs. We have a really good game of football going into this, as it's expected to be. Get us underway, Nick. How do you see this game playing out? Where do you see the important parts of this game being?
I mean, I've backed Iowa to win on our pick sheet, so that's where my allegiance is.
I don't even remember what.
I tell you what, I'm quite interested to see who brings over the most fans, because last year, obviously, Florida State outnumbered Georgia Tech massively.
It was a home game for Georgia Tech, but it wasn't, was it?
Yeah.
There was
And then the previous year when I was there, there was Notre Dame outshone the Navy sort of 4 or 5-1. There was barely any Navy fans there, but that's the military for you. And they got spanked 43-3. So that's, I wouldn't want to go. I wouldn't want to go all the way over there to watch that. But
Navy could turn around and go, hang on a minute, most of our alumni are serving in the Navy. They can't just get up and fly to Dublin. I reckon it's going to be purple. I reckon Dublin is going to be purple.
So that's probably something I'm quite interested to see when I sit down in the stadium and just see. But ultimately, I'm going to enjoy the day. See everybody, fans from everywhere just mingling and enjoying themselves, and that's what I'm enjoying. I don't think college football
game day's not there. No, not
they're
this
not
year.
there this year. No. So
last year was the inaugural time they did that.
I think if they're going to
do,
when they're going to do that, I think they really want to make the special one, Lee Corso's final.
Yeah.
One. I don't. As annoying as it is and whatnot, I get it. I do get it. Yeah. So I still, just going back to the last one, my favorite video on my mobile telephone, or one of the top 3, is the video I've got panning across the stadium in Aviva and the Florida State fans just giving it just the atmosphere. It's only 44,000 in the stadium, but it sounded incredible, and it's not often it translates well onto a phone microphone, but the way it carries is just incredible.
I do hope that both teams are bringing the marching bands, because I think that really added something last year. With both of the Georgia Tech and the Seminole bands being there, because as you say, it allowed those war chants, it allowed those specifics of each of those schools to come through, and last year's overwhelming Seminole support was quite noticeable when the songs were being sung, etc. So it'd be good if they bring those. I think I don't know if there's any specific Iowa State or Kansas State war chants. I guess we'll find out at the weekend, or maybe we can do some digging beforehand. But it's going to be interesting to see. I'm all up for this. This sounds and this feels like a step up in games for
Yes.
the Aer Lingus Classic. It
How's
helps
it, Gary?
that both.
How does it? I was going to say, how does it feel for you with this? Is a visit where you don't have anything on the
Yeah,
line? Because
I
obviously
suppose it'd
you
be
were a Florida State guy, and you were engrossed in that was what you wanted. You didn't get what
yeah.
you wanted, but it was a different game for you last year as it was for me and Fletch because we didn't have anything.
You didn't have skin in the game type
Yeah.
thing, if you like.
So
Yeah.
how are you feeling going in not having skin in the game this year?
I'm looking forward to not having that extra level of anxiety, if you like, of
Yeah.
this is my team. I not my team have to turn up. Week 0, what's going to happen? It's more like let's involve now in the whole thing, much like you guys did last year. Just the atmosphere, mingling, getting in on that, rather than this is my team. My team must win. Whereas now it's just like, hey, I'm here for a good time. I'm here to watch some football. Here to kind of get engrossed in this. I love the fact, as we've mentioned, it's a top 25. It's actually got something riding on it a little bit rather than, it's a preseason week 0 friendly type thing, which is, I think, what it has been looked at historically over the last 10 sort of iterations.
So I'm conscious of, and we can talk about, and I know it will come back up but so far, when speaking about the matchup, all we spoke about is being there. And poor Sam is sat there with a little with his face just a bit like I can't join in this conversation. Sam, what our listeners would also like to know is the on the field side of things, the football side of things. What are you looking forward for during this matchup in terms of the on the field antics? Is there a particular? I mean, both teams are returning some good production, particularly on offense. I know that you and I have got the little. One of us has picked Iowa State, one of us has picked Kansas State to go forward and win the conference as well. So, what are you looking for at the weekend from the game?
Me personally, with someone that I have spoken about before and someone who I am following closely in terms of his career is Avery Johnson, the starting quarterback for Kansas State. I picked him as one to watch last year, and he is, for me, someone to keep an eye on. I think again this year he's had a year under his belt, and I think he could be one to. I think he's a difference maker. I think he has the ability to turn a game on its head in college, and I think that could be really important in a game like this where it's in a neutral ground. It's you don't know how each team's going to turn up. You don't know how they're going to really play and all of that. So I think he could be, he for me is going to be a potentially deciding factor. But I think the one thing that we've obviously mentioned in terms of like recent games between each other, they're always exciting. There's always points. There's always something happening in these games, which inevitably means that it'll probably be a really drab game. Hopefully not.
9-6, 3 field goals to 2 or something else.
But it's something that I think, in terms of looking at Iowa, because obviously if we're going to look at mentioning Avery Johnson on the other side,
got to look at Rocco Beck, don't you?
Yeah, you've got Rocco Beck as the starter at Iowa. Again, he's a potential player that could easily turn a game on his head. But I think that there are other players that also are on that other side that could be interesting to watch. A guy that I've got on my radar is, I can never pronounce his name, Eskilden. Brett Eskilden. He's someone that I'm watching this year in terms of potential player who could do well in the conference. But I think it's going to be a very, very fun game. Personally, I think it's going to be a fun watch. These are two teams that traditionally have a very strong rivalry, which usually means that they both are desperate to win the game, which can either bring mistakes or it can bring the best and the worst out of both teams. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good game. Inevitably, I cannot be there, and of all the games to go to, this probably would have been one of them. If you were to say what games would you like to watch? This probably would have been one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I personally have got, the joys of watching my team play in England this year. So that
Swings and
lessens the
roundabouts.
blow.
Softens the blow for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be some interesting matchups, as I say, because these are both top 25 ranked teams at the moment. There's every focus in college football inevitably ends up in a guy under center or playing quarterback for both teams. But there are some interesting, players on the outskirts that want to catch the eye. And obviously, week 0, although it's kickoff of the season, there's still a little bit of a feel of players playing for their place for the rest of the season. So, I reckon it should be a good game like last game. Nobody expected last year's to be as close as it was and nail biting as it was. If we end up with a walk-off field goal winning again, I think everyone's going to walk out of there happy, no matter what side of the field goal you're on.
I think what's interesting as well is both teams have different wide receiver cores from last year. They're both bringing in players that have not been with their quarterbacks. So again, that could be an interesting
how have they gelled,
side
how have they got
piece
together
in terms of how well do they link with their quarterback, or how well do the quarterbacks link with their wide receivers. I think probably the one thing, and the reason why I've kind of chosen Kansas in this, is I think that where there is that uncertainty as to how well the quarterback's going to work with the wide receivers. Kansas do have Dylan Edwards as their running back, and I think he could play a big part in how they come out this year. So for me, that's probably one of the biggest, I suppose, pluses for me in terms of how it's going to work. But
it's the biggest question mark that Ohio have is how do they stop him? Because I think he's head and shoulders probably the best running back on the field. So how do they go around getting him pinned down and stopping him? That's going to be interesting to watch.
Something I'm interested to see is whether the late arrival translates from the NFL to college, because Iowa State left on Sunday and landed on Monday morning. Landed in Dublin.
They've been there for a while, haven't they?
Yeah, they landed in Dublin Monday morning. Kansas State didn't leave till Monday and therefore landed on Tuesday. I get it's only a 24-hour difference, but I mentioned the NFL there because
teams that arrive in London late have not done well.
Teams that are of the last 9 teams to arrive in London late, 7 of them have gone on to lose.
Yeah, and
that includes whoever's played the Jags at Wembley and whoever's played at Tottenham. So sort of 7 out of the last 9 to arrive in London late, wherever, have lost. So I get it's only 24 hours, but does the fact that Iowa State travelled 24 hours earlier, does that translate? Are they going to be acclimatized? Are they staying on US time? This is, it's a little thing that you don't think about, but it's quite interesting to see whether it's going to, affect because these are kids, they're young lads. So, how are they going to be affected?
And have they, and also, I don't know, last year there was a lot of talk about, the teams were out and about doing, visiting and whatever else. I think, although I think Florida did it the week after, rather they finished the game and ended all the touring rather than, turn up, go and visit the Cliffs of Moher and do all the touristy things. And I wonder whether or not these teams have done the same thing, or if they've flown in and then go, oh, let's go here, let's go there and everywhere, or are they building up to the game and doing all the fun stuff afterwards? It'd be interesting. I don't know if they've done that. I don't know. I haven't seen anything. I've seen lots of socials of all the fans in Dublin. There's a lot of colour in Dublin.
They've both got media training sessions tomorrow. Both training sessions for both Kansas State and Iowa State are open to the media tomorrow, and then you've got interviews on Friday. So they've had, essentially, they've had 2 days on their own of just acclimatizing. So the stuff that they have to do, contract wise, all starts tomorrow.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't both Florida State and Georgia Tech basically get a bye for week one
Yes.
last year? Whereas both Kansas
They're
State
playing week
and
one, aren't
Iowa
they?
State are playing next week as well. So,
Probably a turnaround and fly home Monday morning then, or
yeah,
even on
pretty
Sunday.
much.
Yeah.
So,
They may even fly back Sunday.
Yeah.
yeah,
How quickly
more
can they
than
get packed
likely.
up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
So
I'm just going to have a quick look for Kansas, see when and Iowa.
there's something to
So
factor in for that as well, is that they've got to get back home and get ready for another game in a week's time, whereas Florida State there and Georgia State had the luxury of saying, let's actually spend a couple of days and do a little bit of looking around and enjoying ourselves and make the most out of your trip
Yeah,
overseas.
because for those kids, it was probably once in a lifetime, wasn't it?
Kansas are at home to North Dakota on the Saturday at what would be, I don't know, like 7 o'clock local time. It's midnight over here on the Saturday night, so Sunday morning. And Iowa are at home to South Dakota.
Yeah.
But that's on the Saturday at 8:30, so they're playing even earlier. So that's probably why they've come 24 hours earlier, so that they can probably leave on the Sunday morning.
Yeah, you've got to there will be a body clock adjustment, so you've got to account, and like I say, you're only spending 4 or 5 days here, so you've got to manage that adjustment back and then that adjustment forward in such a short period of time. It's we don't tend to think about it as much anymore with the NFL, because you're probably thinking they've got better sports science and they've got better ways of doing it and a bit more freedom. They try and give them the bye week afterwards to help with all that sort of stuff, but this just isn't the case this week. So it will be interesting to see how they both manage that, and especially what will be even as interesting is to see how they both perform next week against North and South Dakota. Given that, I have very much. I've been downloaded quite a nice little PDF file here, of college press box. I've got a couple of bits of information for you as well. Avery Johnson is set to make his 15th start under center. The Wichita, Kansas product has led the Wildcats to a 10-4 record in his first 14 starts. A junior, Johnson returns after setting the school record with 25 touchdown passes in 2024. He is joined in the backfield by running back Dylan Edwards, who set a Kansas State Bowl record with 196 yards in the 2024 Reap Bowl. So, and I can't remember if the Iowa State version of this file also has similar facts, because I didn't get a proper chance to look through it before we started. But that, I know you mentioned Avery Johnson, and unfortunately I had to dip for a minute. That kind of talent returning.
We did also mention Dylan Edwards and how he's arguably the best running back on the field going into that game as well. And he's going to, where both teams have a different wide receivers, Iowa come back with already a strong, Kansas come back with already a very strong quarterback and a very strong running back, which I think could be the difference maker.
Yeah, could be. Also, can we just talk, Sam? I know you're a big fan of this. The Cyclones are bringing special uniform to the Aer Lingus College Classic. They are bringing a different helmet. They are bringing their script helmet. I think, what are they calling it now? I can't remember if they're calling it the script helmet rather than their usual bright big eye. They're using their very special new helmets and new Cyclone. And I know you're a big fan.
Yeah, well, we've lovely with the ability to be able to bring back helmet headlines, because we've not had it for a long while.
That's the one.
Yeah, so I would have decided to bring in a much different look, but also I mean I quite like it. It's quite a sleek look,
It's
shall we
clean
say?
look, isn't it? It's very clean
Yeah.
looking.
I'm just trying to find an actual thingy of it because everywhere I look, there we go. We'll go on the Iowa State page.
It usually helps.
So yeah, the script Cyclone have said that they're bringing, and it's just a white kit, but obviously the helmet is red with the Cyclone written on the side, and white script down the middle. White strip down the middle with the yellow. Yeah, so it gives very much Kansas City Chiefs vibes.
There's definitely a Chiefs edge to it. Looking at it, it's just the color scheme, isn't it? That sort of
But
cardinal
it's clean.
and
It's
yellow.
nice. It's I do quite like the I don't know if this is going to be on every single helmet, but I do like the Irish link at the front of the helmet as well.
And I think I remember seeing that their socks are going to have like the shamrock and the tricolor on it as well. I think I remember seeing
And
that as
towels
well,
are, I believe, as well. They've got
towels as well. I think
both teams have
everything's got
got
like a little
yeah. Yeah. Where do you think the game's going to be won and lost?
special teams.
I mean,
Just to randomly throw it in. Last year was special teams. Special teams was a highlight, and there was some, 50-odd yard field goals, a walk-off field goal. It's that third phase where often is overlooked. You think the offense or the defense is going to be strongest. Whoever can manage the field positions better. I think, as shown by last year, even when Florida State had field position, they couldn't do anything with it. But, they then couldn't manage to get decent field position or to pin Georgia Tech back. Whereas I think, this is going to be a big sort of interesting talking point because I think both offense will move the ball. It's just who has to move the ball furthest.
Yeah. And unfortunate not to do too much dwelling on last year's game, but there was a significant lack of being able, like one team not passing forward and passing past the line of scrimmage and not making those forward passes until way too late in the game where only a couple ended up being made. And you can't have a team doing that again. Neither team can afford to keep passing behind the line of scrimmage, and both teams have got to go for it. But I'd like to also throw out there that normally, especially in college football, you'd like to say the team that runs it the best will generally win the game. But I'd also just like to put out that I think both of these quarterbacks are very, very, very good, and it's which either one of those has the better game.
It's who steps up. I think it's going to be a case of who wins on offense. I think both defenses are probably just about level. But yeah, I think for me, it's going to be who's better in the backfield on the day. So that's who's going to be the better quarterback and who's going to have the better running game. I think for me, those are the two. I think although it's probably you could probably say that about every single game, but I think in this particular game where I think it is so even, I think for me it'll just depend because I think both are coming back after this. I'm pretty sure both was it their first season as starting quarterbacks last year for both teams. Obviously, it was for Avery Johnson, but it was, I think, for Beck as well, wasn't it? So, again, it'll be interesting to see who has that potential second season syndrome or who steps up to the next level. In both of those, I think if you look at, we talked about Avery Johnson's stats. So you look at sort of Rocco Beck's stats from last year. In 14 games, he completed 59.4% of passes, 3,505 yards for 25 touchdowns with 9 interceptions, and a rating of 138.1, which is obviously a solid score. And obviously they won in the Pop-Tart Bowl 42-41 over Miami, in which he passed for 270 yards and 3 touchdowns. And he also threw 383 yards against Kansas last time they played, with 3 touchdowns. So he's a promising player, and obviously he'll have his moments. And same with Carson Hansen. I think in the backfield again, he's an interesting running back who I don't think is going
to look forward. Yeah, I think if he steps up to be their lead running back, because I think he shares the backfield, but if he really takes on, that's one to watch, I think, as well.
Yeah, I mean, last season he had 152 attempts, 752 yards, 13 touchdowns. So again, if he can sort of kick on from that, then there's a chance that he could play a massive part. I think, but that's for me is where it's going to be won and lost, is who can either perform the best on the day, who has the better day, in terms of running backs and quarterbacks, but also can they stop them? That's going to be the big question. Can the defenses stop them? But seeing as we've sort of obviously mentioned, Nick's obviously mentioned he's gone for Iowa. Fletch, you've also gone for Iowa, I believe. Obviously sticking with your championship winning pick.
Smart.
Me and Gary have decided to go for Kansas State. And Egg has gone for Iowa State. So it's an Iowa State 3-2. So whilst we're on the topic, and it's something that you'll notice with what we're talking about this week and ongoing weeks, we're bringing in a new, I suppose, bit that's going to be involved. We'll obviously give updates every single week, to having a college football UK predictor. So each week we'll bring a number of games. Still hasn't been decided how many we're going to do yet, but a number of games.
Believed to be 10. Rumoured to be 10.
Rumoured to be 10, but we'll see how that pans out. We may swap it on depending on how many games there are. And each week we'll be able to then use that as a talking point for next week as well, for the following week. And yeah, we'll be able to see who actually knows ball. Apparently, I only watch Texas, so theoretically,
you're only going to get one. You only get one right a week, right?
Well, only when Texas,
providing we pick Texas every week to play one of the games.
I may
who's responsible for picking them? Is it Sam?
Me.
I think we're going to say that Texas is going to be in there every week.
But no, I think we're gonna. Yeah, it's gonna be. We're gonna try and pick on games where there's storylines, where there's topics. And that'll obviously feed into what we're doing. So, obviously, if you want to play along, you can do in terms of the picks. See how you do up against us. I'm sure
we'll do a social media post every. I reckon Thursday or Friday. We'll put it out there. The 10 games that we're choosing from. In fact, I think this is a really good way to. This is a really good way to get it involved. Right. First place, it's gonna go. Is the AAW Discord, where you can be one of the first to participate, know what games we're doing, and you can participate in there too. In the AAW Discord and the college football section, or I might create a little extra channel just for this one.
Football pick'ems.
Like Hurdle the Line has its final question of the week little channel. We will do our college football pick'ems. We'll set the games. Whether I make a little graphic and everyone can kind of do their own little thing with the graphic, or whether we'll do the same. Like we'll do our own little thing, but then we'll create the same thing over there for listeners. That'll be the first place, and then I reckon at some point on the Friday we'll put it out there to the actual social media. If we let you, we might. If we get really good responses on Discord, then when we may just the benefit you are going to reap the most benefits if you're on our Discord server.
What we could do, and if there's enough people involved, is we could also include as a 6th member, because obviously there's 5 of us. As a 6th member, we could have the fans' choice. So we go based on what they all pick and their top picks.
This is true. And it'd be, do you know what? I absolutely love how halfway through this segment that we're now deciding, we're coming up with some great ideas.
Making it up on the fly. Literally making it up on the fly as we go.
No,
there you go. There will potentially be a fans' pick, which we will include with ours. And if the fans win, then they win. If they don't, well, sucky, we know a bit more.
So as I said, we've put our names, we've put our our names to our picks for the week, for the all of the games at the weekend, but for this one, I just finally want to go around the room. We'll say a couple more little bits on the game on Saturday. Anything you are particularly excited to see? Me, Gary, and Nick can have another 30 seconds where we will talk about like actually being there. And then we'll get on to the other four games because there are four more games happening on Saturday. Is there anything else? So I was looking up there again, like this. The Iowa State defense, by the way, has finished in the top 10 in the NCAA for the last 3 years in a row. They were
Don't sleep on the
second last
Cyclones.
year, just in terms of scoring defense. Anyway, last year, they averaged, I think, since 2021, they have conceded 454 points in second halves of games since 2021. That average is out at 8.7 points every second over the second halves. Now that is going to, reading that stat, there's a really important one, because we can talk about whether a certain player comes out and does this, whether a certain player comes out and does that, and we can say, oh, the defenses are good, the defenses are matched. The in-game adjustments and the coaching that goes into these games is going to be equally as good, and especially when these players have travelled over 4,000 miles just to play this game. How you keep them going through the game, how you do all these kind of things is going to be really, really, really important.
And also,
When
I
you've
suppose
got
for
coaches who can make those
Kansas,
in-game adjustments, really important.
well, I was just thinking because it's a home game for Kansas, if you like. They're used to playing with all the their bits and pieces, their stadium and how it works and the radios and what are the comms. It's going to be different for both teams as well. How do they react to that sort of difference?
Yes. Do you think this it's a bit of an odd question. We will never truly know, but until Saturday, do you think the trip to Ireland will be kinder to Kansas State or Iowa State? Both of them traveling roughly the same amount. They're both in the same time zone. Do you think it'll be kinder to Kansas State or Iowa State?
That's kind of what I said earlier. I'm quite interested to see who brings the most travel. Who brings the most fans. I think Iowa. I know I picked Iowa for the game, but one of those. I think Iowa are going to bring more fans than Kansas. So, but It's here now. I don't want. I want to stop talking about it. It's here now. Let's go. Are we not going to Dublin tomorrow?
Let's get
We're
on a
going
plane.
to
Let's
Well,
go. Let's
yeah,
go.
let's
Let's
go
go.
now.
Let's go.
Well, the
Some-
final thing I think
Some of us are getting there earlier than
I want to
others.
specifically say on the game is I've had some interactions on social media with both sets of fans, and obviously when games like this come up, there is some discourse on whether the game should even be happening in Ireland and whatnot. And again, as I said when we were on with when Nick and I were on with Spencer McLaughlin, I understand those frustrations and generally agree with them.
Mhm.
Well, it's here, I'm taking advantage of it, but I understand those frustrations. But having spoken to on social media a couple of Iowa State fans, a couple of Kansas State fans, both of which are heading over some of us were heading over or just really, really excited for the opportunity for other people to head over. Last year, both Nick and I were saying, even first thing after we got into Dublin, was just how many Florida State fans were there, but just how nice they were and how actively they wanted to engage with the non-Florida State fans sat next to them. We were sat having that breakfast, weren't we? And people were just walking in and
Yeah.
sat there, and they just wanted to go and have a conversation with them, and they wanted to just how great that atmosphere entirely was, and how well mingled and how everyone really got on together. And I just think it's by the looks of things, by the people I've seen and spoke to who are coming over, it's gonna be that kind of atmosphere where yes, it's a rivalry game, but both sets of fans are looking forward to the traveling opportunity. Both sets of fans are looking forward to seeing what football is like here. And those of us, whether the Irish contingent who will be traveling, but also the ones from across Europe and particularly the UK that are traveling over, just remember let's go show these people what we are about and what a fantastic community of football fans we have here. And also just we know our stuff, man. And make sure we are providing a warm welcome to our transatlantic cousins coming over for the game.
Indeed. I think, as you say, a lot of the fans who came over and you mingled with last year were surprised at how knowledgeable a lot of the UK and the Irish fans are about the game. They were like, "Oh God, you guys have come over to watch." Yeah, they came because they're alumni and they're FSU fans and whatever else. They went to college in Florida State, so therefore they travel and follow them. But they were really interested in the fact that the UK, groundswell of support and the knowledge and everything that we all have of the game. They were like, "Oh my God," and you get that. I think, Sam, you'll get that when you go to the NFL games in London, or any American fans who come over. They're always surprised in a way, maybe naively, I don't know, but they're always pleasantly surprised about how much we do know about their game and their national sport. It's always like, a great conversation place.
And how we've truly taken it on. No, I don't know about you guys.
The fact we're all going to be walking around with bright red T-shirts
Yeah.
is also going to be an absolutely.
I'll always just take from last year though. For me, it's the anniversary of when I was in the same building as Calvin Johnson. Like that's all I care about. I was in the same building as Calvin Johnson, and it's my favorite thing ever. My favorite NFL player second favorite NFL player of all time. It's very, very exciting. And also, what I hope we don't, because yes, I'll be there on Friday. I finish work at 2:30 tomorrow. Nice and early. Me and Mrs. Fletch head out to Liverpool tomorrow night.
Bad luck.
I know. I don't worry. I've got my jabs. I've got my vaccines for it. And my trainers will be well firmly tied to my feet. But we're gonna stay overnight. Then we're gonna be flying out relatively early-ish on Friday, and we'll be in there from Friday afternoon. I've already spoke to Paul from Good Teams Win, Great Teams Cover.
When's he going over?
He's going over on Friday. We're going to go meet and go for a beer on the Friday.
Nice.
Hopefully get to meet Paul, by the way, someone you will find out about in a little short amount of time on this episode. Hopefully get to meet Stephen, our former guest, talking that was on a mini-series. So it's going to be a really fun weekend. And can't wait to see two of you on Saturday at least. And Sam,
time you getting in, Nick?
We'll be missing you.
9:30.
You're probably just before me.
8:30, something like that.
Okay, my flight leaves 8:40 from Luton, so I'll be landing 9:40, give or take.
Yeah,
something like that. So anyway,
but we've got the Gary's Dublin Bitches group. With myself, Mrs. Fletcher's mate, and
can't believe you all agreed to that. Can't believe you agreed to that.
No one actually agreed to it. You said it. We just did it. We just why not?
Okay.
Everybody else just had to deal with it. But really quickly, we do need to have a fly through before we get onto the final piece. Idaho State at UNLV. I don't feel like there's too much to be said about this one. UNLV are probably going to barnstorm this one nicely.
Just before we dive into this one, Fletch, I know we just gave Paul a little nudge from Good Teams Win, Great Teams Cover. Has he got any lines on this weekend's upcoming games that we should be considering?
Well, this is what I was going to bring up a little bit down the line, but we'll get it out. We haven't
got much line left.
So yeah, there are 4 more games this weekend on Saturday, and yeah, let's announce the other brand new segment as well as our pick'ems. We'll be doing every week. I was challenging all of the co-hosts to a little betting challenge. Don't have to actually put money down, but we're going to advise you on how to waste your money. Brought to us by
gamble responsibly.
The AAW Network. I'm not encouraging children to gamble this time, by the way. We're not doing that one.
Well done.
From last season. But huge thank you to Paul and all the lads over at Good Teams Win, Great Teams Cover. Great friends of the network, great friends of all of us in this room, and we're looking forward to kind of collaborating with them throughout the season on some college football picks. So, a message off Paul that came through this afternoon. I think you're going to end up a poor man betting on Big 12 games in 2025. Arizona State made fools of us all last year, as pre-season they were projected to be a basement dweller in the conference and ended up winning the damn thing. Kansas State and Texas Tech are currently favourites to win the Big 12 at 11-2, plus 550. The longest preseason odds for a power conference since 2008. Nobody knows what the hell is going to happen. Week 0 in Dublin is likely to play a huge part in who makes it to the conference championship games in early December. We've got a top 25 matchup and it's Farmageddon. The line has been going back and forth from -3 to -3.5 Kansas State all week long. I think I'm inevitably going to start the season with a push, but I'm taking Kansas State -3. Kansas State are one of the most consistent teams in the conference. Head coach Chris Kleiman is heading to his 7th season, and K-State have only won less than 8 games once in the last 6 years. I expect them to be there and thereabouts at the top of the conference again, and I think they'll get off to a hot start in Dublin. Returning key players on both sides of the ball, including QB Avery Johnson, who could have a massive season, outside bet at 50-1 for the Heisman. They'll have an edge on a strong Iowa State team. Iowa State team offense may take a little bit of time to get going after both star receivers Higgins and Knoll moved on. As
mentioned by Mr. Sam down there, he mentioned that.
As of Wednesday afternoon, so this is the 20th of August, only 49% of the bets and 36% of the money is on Kansas State -3. I don't mind being against the general consensus in week 0. I'll be on the over 49.5 too, but that's solely because I'm attending the game, worried about Iowa State offensive struggles to start with, though. Life's too short to bet the under, which is something I believe you said last year, Nick.
Always bet the over. Always go the over.
Others, Hawai'i -2. That Hawai'i are favourites against Stanford tells you all you need to know about the expectations for the Cardinals in 2025. Wow. They've turned to former NFL head coach Frank Reich. Can't be a recipe for success. They'll be lucky to win 4 games. Hawai'i made some big steps on the defense. Good old coach Jeff Reinbold, something to do with that. They don't give up big plays and they get off the field on 3rd down. A big chunk of that defense has returned this year. There's hype around quarterback Micah Alejandro after he started in the final game of 2024, although throwing it 57 times a week isn't sustainable. Kicking it off at home in week 0, I like Hawai'i to win fairly comfortably despite concerns of depth on the offense. K-State -3. Hawai'i -2 and the K-State Iowa State over at 49.5 just because I'm there. Thank you, Paul.
I mean, it's almost like I actually knew more about college football than just Texas with a lot of what you just said.
Did you get Paul to text you? Did Paul text you with this information before the?
Yeah, you need that vindication from occasionally, Paul. Sam. You can get lucky occasionally.
Yeah, I think I'm with Paul there. That 3.5, I reckon. Yeah, Kansas will cover that. The over at 49.5. If I was to bet, I think there's going to be more.
Always bet the over.
Always bet the over. 24. It's going to be 24-27. Therefore, you're over, right? We're in that ballpark figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on sort of linking that into, I suppose, the next game, which we can sort of jump into, is the Stanford Hawaii game. Only one person has picked Stanford to win.
Somebody picked Stanford? Somebody actually picked Stanford? You think that's one of Stanford's 3 wins this season?
I decided that I channeled my inner Andrew Luck, and I decided that something told me that Stanford might walk away with a win there. So, yeah.
Wow.
And the other reason I was thinking is I didn't know what Sam had done, and last year on Sleeper, it really annoyed me because I was only 2 points behind Sam, and every time I looked at trying to change, every game I
Trying to
wanted to
sneak
pick,
one, he'd
Sam
pick the
had
same.
picked the same game. So I was having to pick a game that I didn't want to pick a team and just try and chase. And one week I missed and I lost. I mean, gap went from 2 to 6, and I managed to get it back to 2, and that was it. Never got any closer.
I did that on the Hurdle of the Lion pick'ems. Sam missed 3 episodes and still beat me on those pick'ems.
How does he do it? He only watches Texas and the Rams. How does he
Exactly.
do it?
It's almost like I actually watch football.
Get out.
Almost like we're not riding that train.
It's all AI.
I went with the theory that chances are a lot of people would be going with Hawaii, and I wanted to buck the trend and try and chase.
You wanted to be that guy.
That guy. You want to be that guy.
You want to be
Actually, saying that, I was that guy for most of our predictions of the conference, so I can't say anything.
To be fair, not most. There were a couple though where I think all of us at one point just went,
It's Boise
no.
State.
I'm going to say this instead. I did it with the ACC. I was like, everyone said Clemson, so I went, no, give me Miami. But no, is there? So Hawaii, right? Okay, let me.
I think the big thing with that Hawaii game, in terms of one of probably the benefits for Hawaii, is that it's a travel for anyone to go there.
Yeah,
so they're always going to be favourites at home.
Do you?
Although I suppose for Stanford, for a team, it's the least amount of travel, right?
Yeah,
they're flying from right out on the west coast already, and then they're probably the team that has to travel the least to go and play.
Do
Hawaii.
we remember? Was it Delaware State you played in Hawaii last year, and we didn't even know if they were going to get to Hawaii?
Something of some travel nightmares or something.
Oh, I've got some notes about that. Oh,
somewhere.
Hang on.
Hold on.
I know I made notes about that. Oh, I've seen something while I was looking through notes.
While you're trying to find it, Hawaii. I'm excited to see what they look like this year. And I too have no faith, real faith in Stanford. It's gonna be a tough one for Stanford. I would take Hawaii. Yeah, I would also. I agree with Paul there. By the way, not only do I think Hawaii are gonna win, I think they're gonna win by the latter end of a score. So we're looking in the 6-7 mark rather than the 2-3 mark.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We got anything on the others? Well, we got Sam Houston at WKU. I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah, so Sam Houston, WKU. Obviously, we've got one person who I believe picked Sam Houston to win the.
They're going to win the lot. They're going to win the lot. They're winning the Sun Belt.
Gonna win the
lot. So we've again sort of got a nice-ish even split. Nick and Gary have both gone for Sam Houston to win. And me, Fletch, and Egg have all gone for Western Kentucky to win.
Now, if we've learned anything from our Beavers and Cougars debate over the year, if Sam and I go on the same pick, that's winning it. I'm happy. If I picked and Sam's picked it, I'm happy. I'm coasting this one.
Nope.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. What was that about Beavers and Cougars?
Yeah, your ears picked up at Beavers and Cougars, but you ignored them.
All I'm saying is, when we debated over the Pac-2 last year, we had the Beavers versus Cougars debate. Sam and I were on the same team. Remember, bonded by the Beaver. And all I know is if Sam and I pick the same thing, that tends to be what happens. So
slightly worrying if you're both picking the same Beaver. Anyway, moving on.
In terms of that game, I just to kind of give a bit of context. Western Kentucky are 1-4 favourites to win that game on the money line.
Yeah.
Hawaii are also 10 and 13 favourites, but again, that one's a lot tighter with Stanford. So
because they're both rubbish teams,
there is some credibility that Stanford could win, and there is at the moment it's only a -2 spread, as we've obviously already mentioned. Yeah. Western Kentucky have a -10.5 spread over Sam Houston. The other two games that
So-
are there, I think obviously we mentioned Idaho State versus UNLV. The less we
UNLV.
talk about that game, the better. I think it's pretty much going to be a cakewalk for UNLV. They are 26.5 over the spread, like minus 26.5 in the spread, 1-40 to win. And then
Don't
coming
waste
to
your
our
money on that one.
final game, which I think could be an interesting game,
So-
although again the odds
re-
probably.
Really, really sorry, Sam. I know you're trying to power through this. Just real quick on UNLV, Idaho State. Now, Paul and the lads are from good teams win, great teams cover. They're a good team. They'll win. But are UNLV a great team? Will they cover? Do we think? That's
Yes.
four scores.
Yes.
They'll win by.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're playing. Who is it they're playing?
Idaho State.
Idaho State.
Are we looking at a mercy rule game to open week 0? Do we reckon there'll be mercy
I
rule?
reckon they'll be shortened the second and third.
I doubt
third-
there'll be.
third
I don't
quarters.
think there'll be a mercy rule, but I reckon I'm with you there, Gary. That
Could be
they'll cover.
close. Yeah, they'll definitely. I think they'll cover, but not quite mercy rules level. But I think there'll be a
Bench
because
play.
they'll want to put a marker down. They'll want to get the rust off. They'll
Yeah.
want to score and rack up some points, feel good factor, and all that sort of stuff.
Bench plays will get some drives and snaps.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Sam. Carry on.
And yeah, the final game, which I don't think I could be wrong in this, but I don't think either team have been picked to win any conferences. I know obviously Fresno State was picked last year by Fletch to win. But they play Kansas in the 11:30 English time start time. And again, in terms of the college football UK picks, we have, funnily enough, only Fletcher's picked them to win out of all 5 of us. Everyone else has gone Kansas for this game. So,
The Jayhawks have got this one, I think. Especially
yeah,
the Jayhawks, they're at their new stadium and everything, aren't they? There's a whole new launch of the.
and they are minus 12.5 spread. So we're looking at two touchdown spread.
2 touchdowns.
And they are 1-5 on the money line to win. So I'd like to understand from Fletcher's point of view why he chose Fresno State to win this game.
Because there's a theme here. Someone's going out there to be a contrarian. There's going to be an upset this week, and I reckon if anyone's going to pull off an upset, it's going to be Fresno State. Every week there has to be some form of an upset, and
Sam Houston is going to be the upset. I tell you, mate. I tell you. It'll be a bigger upset.
Just for I suppose transparency, Egg has picked Idaho State to beat UNLV. So there is 3 people who have gone for teams that are not the favourites to win on their own.
Wow.
So we've got 3. No, we've only got 3 lone wolves.
I thought Nick was a lone wolf with Stanford. Gary was a lone wolf.
No, we
Sam
had 2
Houston.
for Sam Houston. Nick also
Nick's.
for Sam Houston.
Right.
So Nick's lone wolf
Idaho
with
State.
Stanford.
Wow. Eggs picked Idaho State.
Of course, Egg did that one, by the way. Of course, that is the most Egg pick out of the lot.
Yeah. So
If
Fletch,
he comes in,
you're
then-
lone wolf in Fresno. Why?
I'm
Is it like a homer pick because you chose them last year? You feel like
kind of. I feel something there, and again, me and Fresno State fans, we're like that, right? We're like that these days. But again, I was doing this on Herd the Line last year, right? And you saw me go through the pickings. Granted, it did not work in my favor, as has been previously mentioned. You missed 3 weeks and still beat me when cumulative scores, but I stand by I did it every year. There's going to be some form of an upset. Someone, even if they're a slight underdog, someone's going to win that game where they're not supposed to. I live by that at least once. And in college football, because there's so many games, there's going to be 2 or 3, no matter how close or how far they are. I'm going to bank on something like that every single week happening, even in the games that we just randomly pick out. that's the one I chose because maybe there's a little bit of homerism in there, but also if I had to pick one at random. Because logically thinking about who's going to be the underdog, I'd say not work for me.
No.
Don't worry. If we at least 1 week this year, we'll make sure Kennesaw's in there, and you get that pick
Against
as well.
Liberty, because apparently that's a thing now.
That's the thing. That's going to be called the Owl Bowl or something.
Kennesaw State play Old Dominion. That game has to go in.
Yeah,
that game
might have
has to go in.
That might have to go in. I'll have to check which week that is.
When's that? Actually, when is that game? Just real quick.
Week 6, week 8.
Which is roughly what date?
Mid-November.
Mid-November. So are you saying
mid-October? Mid-October.
You say new studio's not going to be built by then, is it? I was going to say we could have like it'd be the saddest get together all the way in Manchester. We meet up to watch Kennesaw State
in my brand new podcast studio.
Oh wow! God, imagine you'll be the only two people watching it.
Yeah, we will be. And I'm still trying to make something happen with Kennesaw State for this, by the way. Come on, I'm the only person flying. I'm one of like 4 people flying your flag here. Come on.
Come on, Kennesaw State. We need some sponsorship. We need something from you. We need some goodies. We'll take anything from the Kennesaw State equipment team.
No, they don't. They don't play Old Dominion.
Yeah, I was going to say they don't play Old Dominion this year.
Do they not?
It might be on a future schedule, but they don't play it this year. So they got Wake Forest, Indiana, MRMK,
whoever they are,
Arizona State,
Merrimack,
not Memphis.
Right, so
Middle Tennessee, LA Tech, FIU, UTEP, NM State,
New Mexico,
and then whoever they get in the playoffs,
Jacksonville State,
Jacks, and then
whoever they get
Missouri
first week in the playoffs. Sure.
All of that just to get bounced by
Ohio State in the first.
I would say you got to end up facing whoever's the 5th seed. Yeah, you're going to get absolutely bounced by Oregon or something. Lovely. And then I'm going to be the only person on the planet who gets the whole, your Kennesaw State Owl should never have been in there. They should never have given that spot to him, and I've got to defend it.
Sorry, I know why I made that mistake. Sam, we had the special on Appalachian State. Old Dominion play Appalachian State on the 25th of October. That's why it's Appalachian State that I got. Yes, so I don't know where I'll go. Probably Old Dominion that week.
Lads, I am somewhat conscious of time. I do get that sometimes. I do feel it on the odd occasion. Like I said, tomorrow
we have filled 2 hours of absolute waffle.
Tomorrow begins my Dublin trip. So I need to. Well, I feel like it's now really spending this evening with you gentlemen. I feel like it starts now. The weekend is college football's here. This is it. We've done our first preview show. So all I think we need to kind of say after this is just college football is back. Remember to come and see us on our socials. Follow the AAW network. Follow CFB UK. Follow all of my wonderful co-hosts. Join the Discord.
Join the Pick'ems in Discord.
Join the Pick'ems. And you know what, actually, like I say, we'll try and do on Saturdays as well. At 5 p.m, I will be hanging out and hopefully be joined by others in the voice channel on Discord. I'll have probably about 6... Not this week, no.
Not this week.
I'll have about 6 games on.
Proper messy if it was this week.
I will have about 6 games on at any given time, right? Obviously, on the week 1, I'll have Texas, Ohio State on the main TV, and then other little games going on at the same time. If you're gonna watch any college football, or if you fancy just kind of talking,
and fingers crossed, everyone in the UK is going to get an option to watch college football.
Yes, we've still got a week to hear something.
I'm sure Notre Dame will end up being on the telly for about 10 games or something.
Yeah.
Join the Discord. You can just join the voice chat, watch whatever game you want, watch whatever game you've got on. Come and sit with us. We'll talk throughout the games and we'll just we'll spend the college football Saturday together, even if it's virtually. All are welcome as long as you're nice and play nicely in the Discord. All are welcome. If you are in Dublin on Saturday and you see one of any three absolute stunners wearing bright red t-shirts,
Hang on, isn't it 5 people wearing?
I'll say 3 stunners. You pick which two aren't the stunners.
Yep. Good. Yeah, good specific. Yep.
But what I was going to say was, if you find 3 stunners wearing bright red t-shirts, I can't believe 3 other people have worn bright red t-shirts as well as us.
Yeah, because it's certainly not us. Yeah.
But then you will hopefully find, if you are on video, you will see the t-shirts. If you are not, then they'll be on the social media. If you see us in these t-shirts, please do come and say hello. Tell us how much you absolutely love the podcast. And a big, 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 big shout out to custom mugs, NFL mugs. Which,
NFL.
if you want your own custom NFL mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, we will also have the link to his socials in the bio, so you can go and get them off him, because these are genuinely brilliant quality t-shirts.
They actually are. Like,
you can't see.
Normally expect these sorts of t-shirts to be poor quality,
flimsy, and whatever else.
Yeah, actually, I put this through a wash. If you've got a t-shirt like this, you would expect that. You would expect the thing to start being messed up already. It's fantastic. The quality is impeccable. You'll see it for yourself on Saturday, hopefully. But seriously, go and shout it out. It's fantastic. If you need anything, please go and speak to him. And
also, if anybody does want to come to Dublin, they're suddenly thinking, right, they listen to the podcast, they want to come, they haven't got tickets, hit me up. I've got 2 going. I need to sell them.
Yes. So
Sam.
You know I can't. I've got golf.
Sam.
Playing in our version of the Masters, so that's got to.
Don't you dare say that's more important.
Don't you? You almost said that was more. Don't you dare. That takes priority, I think, is what
I've got to be zoned in for it.
There you go. Fair enough.
Hang on, golf's only just popped up. You were using the excuse that you got a baby the other month. Make your mind up. Sure. Be consistent with your excuse.
No.
The reason why I couldn't actually go was because of having a child, and my wife wants to go to Ireland, so I can't go without her. Or my alternative for this weekend is playing in this.
That hamster wheel in your head is going really quick.
This was spoken about a couple of weeks ago. You might not have been on. Amy, in all fairness, understood the predicament that Sam was in and said, "Look, I understand that you're not getting to do that, so at least go have a game of golf," because she's wonderful. I'm not trying to lay this trap in now for next year.
I am still going to the NFL, and that's all that matters. I get to watch the Rams.
So
because I only watch the Rams in Texas, so
as has obviously become apparent throughout this.
So apparently, just for the record, anyone watching this, I'm not going to be watching this game on Saturday, although I will be.
Yeah, because it's not Texas.
Officially, I'm not watching it because I only watch Texas. Unofficially, I'll be watching it.
Officially, you don't have a way to watch it, Sam, so you can't be watching it.
You can't be watching it live because
there's that, yeah. Unless
an official way of watching it
sorted in the next few days.
Unless Sky suddenly announced that they'll be showing it, or somebody.
Yes.
Right, boys, it's getting late. We've had a good couple of hours, and I'll see 2 of you ugly mugs Saturday morning. Sam,
good
enjoy
evening,
your golf.
lads. See you.
Hope you win.
See you Saturday and see you next week.
See you Saturday.